This video is lesson 19 of the Hands-on Equations learning system. And in this lesson, we're going to look at some simple algebraic equations that involve subtraction with the green cubes. And our first example is star minus 3 equals negative 6. So I'm going to start by setting up the star. And now I want to take away 3. And this is a positive 3 because if it was a negative, it would have parentheses and a negative sign. Remember that this is an operation. So we're wanting to take away 3 positives. I don't have any positives to take away. I don't even have any negatives to take away. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add a 0 pair, just like we did with the x and the star in previous lessons. So when I add a 0 pair, I'm really adding no value to that left-hand side, but now I can finish the setup and take away that positive 3. Then I can put the negative 6 on the left-hand side, and I can go about solving my equation. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take a negative 3 away from both sides. When I take 3 negatives away from 6 negatives, I'm left with 3 negatives. So we have a value of negative 3 for star. And if star is negative 3, that makes x be positive 3. When we perform the check, we need to set up our equation to its original state. Now remember, in its original state, we had to add this 0 pair and then remove the positive 3 before we could place the negative 6 on the other side of the balance. So here's our original state. And on the left-hand side, we had star equal to negative 3. So on the left-hand side, we have a negative 3 and another negative 3, which combines to have a value of negative 6. So our check is negative 6 equals negative 6. In this example, we have 3 star minus negative 2 equals 8. So I'm going to start out with 3 stars. 1, 2, 3. I'm wanting to take away 2 negatives, but I don't have 2 negatives to take away, so I'm going to have to add a 0 pair. And now I can take away 2 negatives, so I'll take those back and put a positive 8 on the other side of the equation. So now I've got my original setup, and now I can use a legal move to go ahead and solve this. And the legal move I'm going to use is take away 2 from both sides. 8 minus 2 equals 6. Now I have 3 of something equals 6. 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2 equals 6. So star has a value of positive 2, which makes x have a value of negative 2. Just as a reminder, remember that x does not have to be positive and star does not have to be negative. X and star are just opposites of each other. So now we're going to go back to our original setup. And remember, in our original setup, we had to add a 0 pair before we were able to then take away the 2 negatives. So then we took away the 2 negatives, and then we had an 8 positives on the other side. Now, when we perform our check, the star was positive 2. So 2, 4, 6 plus 2 more is 8. So 8 on the left, of course 8 on the right. 8 equals 8. Confirmed that star does equal positive 2 and x equals negative 2. So you can see when we are trying to solve equations that involve subtracting integers, whether they're positive or negative integers, we follow the same legal moves that we use when we're trying to evaluate expressions with just positives and negatives, and the same legal moves that we would use to evaluate or to solve equations that involved x's, stars, and positive numbers.